Social media derby. We've got a great episode this week. End of the international break. We'll be previewing all of the games involving the big six teams in game week 4. We'll also be doing our transfer grade review. Obviously, a lot more windows have closed now, and me in particular got one big outgoing, which will impact my grade quite a lot. But before we get into it, for those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below, share it with your mates if you can. All of that helps with the growth of the channel. And for those listening on Spotify, Apple, or any of the other podcasting platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. That also helps us on the audio side of things. And then obviously, disclaimer, views expressed in this podcast are just entertainment. Everything's jokes. They're not our real opinions when it's not football anyway. But yeah, all right, guys, how's it going? Just the 4 of us today. I'm surrounded by Asna, but I should be all right. How are you guys doing?
You'd rather be surrounded by us than Liverpool fans. Let's put it that way.
I'd still take this to a one-on-one pod with Kem. That would be my worst nightmare. So I'll take you guys. But let's get into the Arsenal. Let's get into the Arsenal versus Forest game. It's about to kick off in the next 10 minutes or so. We already started chatting a little bit about the lineup because there's a few controversial calls in there. No Declan Rice. It looks like Eze up on the left wing and Madueke on the right wing. So a couple of interesting choices there. But also, yeah, you're playing Forest with a new manager. Ange Postecoglou back in. Nuno's been sacked. I don't know about you guys, but I've enjoyed this 3 months or 4 months without Ange. I saw his press conference and I got livid automatically. I'm just like, why is this guy back? Just like being a dour C word, I almost saw there. And just like not looking at any of the press people in the eyes, looking down all the time. Just what do you guys make of this? This is just a weird decision, isn't it?
It's a weird club.
Yeah, but why have they got rid of Nuno? I know they've been beefing right in the background. That's Nuno said it before the season started, but this just doesn't make sense. Can one of you explain to me why maybe they've done this?
One word.
One
3
word.
letters.
Yeah, I was about to say it. Go on, spill it.
Edu. Where Edu goes, the problems go.
That's an easy name to say, and add another one that's harder to say. Jarabchian or whatever his name is, Kia.
Well, I was
stick him in there as well.
3 letters, Kia. Yeah.
Yeah, stick him in there as well.
Them two.
But I'll be honest with you, like I feel like it was never going to work out because Nuno's clearly quite outspoken, right? Like he comes out in press conferences and says, "We haven't got the players. We need better players." So he does kind of put his manager under a bit of, or his owner under a bit of pressure. And then you've got Marinakis. So like the two of them going head to head, you knew it was not going to work out that well. And as weird as it might sound to say, I actually think Ange is more of a yes man than Nuno will be. Because you're talking about Levy and all this, that, and the other. Like you've had Conte going mad and all this other stuff. Ange didn't really do that. So I feel like it could probably work a bit better.
Stylistically, this makes no sense though, because you're going from like a deep low block, counter-attacking. Which, to be honest, guys, I know it was stunk if it was coming up against your team and it was, not the easiest to break down, didn't really lead to the best games visually. But I liked having a bit of variation, man. I liked that Nuno wasn't just following this Pep model and just trying to play out from the back and do all that rubbish. He was just like keeping it old school, almost 4-4-2 at times. And now they've gone for the polar opposite, high line for life, suicidal kamikaze football. And like I know it was good when Tottenham were losing every week, like us last season, but like what are they going to do now? I don't even think they've got the players to do this. I mean, Aya, what do you think, bro? Do you think they're going to be able to pull this off, or I might need to we might need to do another predictions review because Forest are different now.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a big ask for them to change like this early in the season. Obviously, I think if they're going to do it, should have done it in the summer, so then at least he can kind of get his philosophy in, and then his players in as well, maybe. But I think Ange is, it's going to be crazy to see because, as you said, he just plays a completely different type of football compared to what they've been playing. So it'll be interesting. Like, I'm not complaining. I've got Chris Wood in the FPL team, so the more chances Chris Wood gets, the better. So I wish it happened last week, the triple captain. It would have been, or the 2 weeks ago. But apart from that, like, I do see. I don't know. It might be different. Like, I think new manager bounce is real, but as you guys said, I think it's been coming. It's been brewing. Like last year when Marinakis walked onto the pitch and did all of that, and then obviously over the summer, I think you can kind of see
Gibbs
like
White.
you see Gibbs White. You've seen the tension kind of building. So I don't think Nuno had much longer there. I think it's surprised it happened this early on, but I guess it's better for them to kind of do it now than kind of like wait till later. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a struggle tactically wise, but could be exciting. As you said, it was something to see different. But Ange, he knows what he wants, and as you said, he does win trophies. So like the man.
He wins a double in his first season. He's raised the stakes even further.
He backs out, man. I can't even fault the guy as much as I despise Tottenham and what he did there. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Forest look like. But they got good players, and they've still got a good team. So it could be exciting.
I think we all need to pull one out for Milinkovic though, because my man on the halfway line is going to have an absolute mare.
He was in my FPL, bro. He was in my FPL, bro. I literally, because of this one decision, I played my wild card game week 3 or 4, whatever it was, because I had 3 Forest players in, all defenders and goalie. There's no way they're surviving this. Milinkovic is getting spun. He's barely, if he does like survive, he's going to be riding bench. And like all the other defenders are just going to have their work cut out. So I flogged them all, man. Thanks, Marinakis. You've screwed my FPL up. So that's good. But Razor, you mentioned it about Kia. Do you think this is like a big agent thing in the background? Because I know they've used what's his name, George Mendes, quite a lot previously, and that's Nuno's guy, or Nuno's his guy, and Edu coming in, he's Kia's guy. Do you think that's what this is maybe about?
Listen, I think you have to follow the facts sometimes, and look at what's in front of you. And I said it a lot when we were talking about like transfers as well. I think there's definitely seems to be a different era at Arsenal, and some things that were a little bit more Arsenal-y in terms of their level of ridiculousness seem to be going on at Forest. And I was like, well, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably fucking Edu at all. No, we're all right. Probably Edu at it again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. Like the Amari Hutchinson signing, like that was crazy to me. Like the lack of like strengthening in positions. Like they had a great season last year. Do you know what I mean? But I think more than the Edu thing per se, like because that is quite specific about him being an individual. I think it speaks to like the real like difference that we've got in football now when it comes to your traditional kind of manager versus like what seems to be the thing now, which is a head coach who's in charge of tactics, in charge of picking a team. But when it comes to your opinions on, for example, like transfers or like maybe even play style, like you might come in as a gaffer now and be told, this is the way we want to set up the club. This is how we're going to play. This is what our objectives are. This is what you've got. Go make use of it. And I can completely understand if you're someone who feels like you need to have control of those bits and pieces, kind of being fed up with it quite quickly, especially if someone like Edu is the person that they're telling to be in charge.
Yeah, and if you read into it as well, like apparently like their first meeting, even it did not go well. Like and something Edu said offended Nuno. And to be honest with you, like from the point of view of like Nuno complaining that he doesn't have his players, this, that, and the other. I mean, the signings that they've made have been strange, but they're not like horrible. Getting Douglas Luiz on a season-long loan is not a horrible signing. Like Douglas Luiz is like a proven Premier League player. Yeah, he hasn't been great at Juve, but I mean, I didn't think he was ever going to be very good at Juve. But I think overall, like you can't really complain too much about the signings. Yes, I'm sure Nuno would say, "Oh, I wanted somebody else." That's fine, but it just seems to me like more of like a personal grudge between the two of them. And at the end of the day, obviously, like Marinakis has just put Edu in this, like, it's because it's not just Forest, is it? It's like he sits over everything now. Olympiacos, Forest, like, so I feel like he's kind of like made his line in the sand and said, all right, Edu's the guy now. And I don't think if it comes down to it, he's going to get rid of Edu over Nuno. So he just felt like there was a personal vendetta between the two of them. They're not getting on. And Marinakis had to make a decision and just basically say, okay, get rid of Nuno and let's get someone else. But I do think that the choice of Ange is a weird one because there are other managers that are on the, like we literally have just talked about Jose Mourinho, who's been saying that he wants to come back to a Premier League team that is not or I know he said not in Europe, but obviously he probably does want to be in Europe. Like
just Mourinho doing Mourinho things, innit?
Exactly, but also Mourinho's play style probably would have worked better with that Forest team. Like if you think about it, Nuno, like Jose cut his teeth as parking the bus, so it's a bit weird to have Ange, who's like the antithesis of what Nuno did, to come in.
Yeah, but I read stuff that they've been meeting like in the summer and stuff. So I think it's been on the cards, like you guys were saying, and they're just waiting for a moment to actually get Ange in and get Nuno out. But yeah, it's a crazy decision. Let's get onto the Arsenal side of things. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit just now. You've got Eze starting, Madueke starting, no Rhys. What do you guys make of the lineup?
It's not that remarkable. I think, you know, if we weren't coming back from like the international break, then I might be like, why is Declan not playing? I personally, as an Arsenal fan, I want to see Declan Rice play 90 minutes every game week, if possible. The only time I ever want to see him not included is if we have Champions League on the way, which I feel like is obviously a thought, and then probably not overusing players or not like sort of hurting resources ahead of like after the international break as well. Like, and I think you're going to see that across all of the big teams this week. You know, Slot was in a press conference telling everyone like, yeah, we're excited. We want to play the new players. We want to play Zach. We get it. But got to make sure he don't mash himself up because we signed him for 5 years, not just for this weekend, which I think is a really good way of putting it when you're thinking about player stuff. So I think, yeah, I'm not like worried. And again, it speaks to the depth that we've added. Do you know what I mean? I'm not worried that we're not playing Declan Rice. I'm not even inherently worried that Saka is not back. Like I'd rather see him get back on his feet properly than rush back as he has done several times and potentially not be in a good position when he comes back. Do you know what I'm saying?
It just makes me happy to not see Trossard start because no, I like him. He's a good player, but he's like one of them ones where like you start him and he's terrible, but you bring him on in the 60th, 70th minute and he's really, really good. So like when we were getting into those stages last year where we had to start him on the wing somewhere or even up front, I was never happy about that because he doesn't have that for me to be like a full starter. So I'm just happy about that. And I do think that like, you know, I'm not going to go as far as fucking Gary Neville saying that he thinks that we should play Saka on the left wing to get Madueke into the team. I don't know what my man's got against Saka, but he needs to give his head a wobble. But like, I am happier that we've got Madueke on one side, Eze on the other. It does make me happy that that's what we're able to do now when we've got injuries, because they're going to come. Like, I mean, we've already seen 3 big ones. They're just going to keep on coming, especially when we're playing this much football. So I am happy with the kind of starting lineup, and yeah, I hope that we can put, you know, start off Ange's spell at Forest in the worst way possible. I want us to hammer them.
My feelings on Gary Neville are probably the sort of opinions that Ant issues the disclaimer for at the beginning of the pod. So I will say nothing. But
yeah,
yes.
he's got something against Saka, because like with Foden, he's saying that everyone should play around Foden. He's the best English player ever. And then you've got Saka, who's literally been at tournaments, international tournaments, voted our best player or in the player of the tournament every single time, and he's still waffling all that. Now, obviously, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to make Madueke feel better because he had like a weird intro to the Arsenal team or what. But now he's suddenly coming out and saying, Madueke looks really, really exciting, and you've got to essentially do whatever you can to get him into the team. I'm like, no, mate. Why would you take Saka? I don't like the fact that Saka's got this like label on him now that he's like Mr. Utility. He's not fucking James Milner. I'm not sticking him at left back, right back, left wing, right wing. Like, it's mad that that's what we're coming to in terms of like the punditry. It's genuinely just shocking. We need to get Tony Adams or somebody else onto these panels more frequently, because these lot are waffling absolute rubbish.
I think it's why, like, for me, the Americanization, if I get on my little soapbox and do my little speech,
go on.
like the Americanization of football, our football, will always be something that I kind of like engage with in a bit of a reluctant way, because like I think there's loads of things that we can learn really well from American sports, not necessarily MLS, but like the NBA, NFL, the way that like player power, the way that they let players be themselves and express their cultures, their heritage, all of that. Like, I think there's so many positive things there. I think there's some stinky things there, you know what I mean? And like the super like polarized, biased punditry thing where it's like, okay, cool, you got this guy on, you know he's going to rip on LeBron because he's the anti-LeBron guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to see that in football. I would actually much rather watch like Gail Clichy talk about like a City Arsenal game. Like, get Gail Clichy and Michael Richards on, like, because at least they're going to be able to, like, them man, are they the most exciting pundits in the world? Probably not. Like, are they the people that bring in mad big viewers for these broadcasters? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, like, they sit down and they discuss the game. Do you know what I mean? Allegedly, if you watch on illegal streams, you get a lot of American coverage. Do you know what I'm saying? And you get people like Tim Howard and Joe Hart, and they're actually trying to analyze the game. And I rate that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, rather than this, like, oh, I'm going to say some stuff that reaffirms my club bias and get a clip that's going to go viral on. Go do TikTok dances if you want to get views, Gary. Like, stop, leave football alone, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, on that topic about like the Americanization thing as well, like at least the American ones, you've got multiple like pre-show or pre-game shows that you can watch, right? So if you want to go and see the anti-LeBron guy or the whatever else, you kind of got all these different options. I feel like with us, we're just stuck with the same dons that are the same, like, you know, they're clearly chosen by the broadcaster, and they're just going to say the same old stuff every single time, and you get sick of it after a while. Like, I feel like somebody needs to come in, CBS or whoever else that does like the Golazzo, come in and offer something for the Premier League, like on a more frequent basis for UK fans, because I'm tired of listening to these lot waffle absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Who's been waffling? Sorry, guys, I had to jump off.
No, we're just talking about Gary Neville and his suggestions about getting Madueke into the team now, as if he's like our most important player. And Saka should play out of position to allow him.
Do you see how Uncle Righty wanted to avoid that convo with the plague after his left back shouts?
No, but did you see how Uncle Righty slewed their Manchester man when they were talking nonsense? They were like, can you be unbiased about Arsenal? Like,
yeah.
And he was like,
we make fun of Man United all the time.
And he was like, you have to,
you're fucking
shit all the time. Yes, righty. Come on.
Yeah. Come through.
What's going on, Rizzo?
Come on, Rhys. 74 charges. What are you doing, brother? Are you in the pen right now?
Hey,
Roman behind you, yeah?
We're innocent.
Even though you self-reported that you're guilty.
Do you know what's ironic? We're trying to argue that no sporting merit was gained in these with this disadvantage. But how can you argue that when we got Hazard and Willian playing for the team?
And Eto'o,
we don't count Eto'o.
Fucking hate Chelsea, man.
Fabregas as well. We're taking back Fabregas's medals. He's no longer a Chelsea legend. He's only an Arsenal legend. Sorry, mate.
That's Fabregas's only claim to the Premiership. Is
shut up.
Time at Chelsea. We know.
All right. Before we get into the Chelsea section, and we'll give Rhys the Spanish Inquisition about these 74 charges. Let's quickly do our predictions for the Arsenal Forest game, which has obviously kicked off already. Who's top of the league? All right, Kem Larden is. He's not.
Kem and then Lana and then me.
Yeah. All right. Since Lana's struggling with his connections, we'll go to you, Jonts. What's your prediction for this one?
I'm going KG 2-1 win to Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Rhys, I think you're next up, bro. What's your prediction for this one?
Going to go 2-0 Arsenal. I think it will be tight. Obviously, I think Ange has to adapt. I don't think he'll move away from Nuno's style of play so quickly. So I think, yeah, it'll be close affair. 2-0, I think.
All right, that makes sense. Kem, what's Kem done? Kem has sent in 2-1 Arsenal as well. What's your prediction, Razor?
I want to go 3-0. I think I agree with Rhys. I don't think he's going to completely run away from the tactics straight away. But I think like things are going to be a bit rattled. It's not going to be like the normal new manager thing. And I think him not changing things will actually potentially prevent that new manager bounce. So yeah, I think big Arsenal win coming in after a cagey beginning.
So what was that prediction again, bro?
3-0.
3-0.
Oh my goodness.
Big score lines. I'm gonna go for Arsenal to win 3-1. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this. I don't think Ange is going to have time to properly get them playing real high line football, but I think he'll have enough time to really give them some
enough time
chaos.
to ruin it.
Yeah, enough time to just tweak them enough to destroy what's going on with them. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna go 3-1. We'll come back. We'll circle back and drop in Io's predictions, and someone's going to need to find a way to speak to Nash to get his predictions as well. But all right, that's the four of us on here with the predictions for this one. Rhys, I don't know why you've gone off cam now, bro, because you're hiding. The next section, Brentford, Chelsea. Yeah, man. I mean, normally this would kind of be a bit of a boring fixture, right? I know it's a West London derby, but Brentford, Chelsea, I don't think there's any vim behind it. Even the Fulham Chelsea one, there's not much vim behind it. So it would just be run-of-the-mill game. But we've had these 74 charges dropped on your head top, Rhys. What is it for? Is it for like secret agent fees or something I read somewhere? What's this all about?
Yeah, I think it's to do with agent fees and off-the-book payments to players to obviously get them to come and play for us. Long time ago, though, we've changed. We're a different team now. But yeah, the thing is,
it goes up to 2022, bro. You're saying long time ago. Come on.
Mate, we're in 2025. Stop living in the past, man.
We are Arsenal fans. Okay? Okay? Don't you dare tell us not to live in the past.
But the thing is, this isn't news. We've known that this has been flagged to the FA a long time ago, and it was just under investigation. So the charges are new, but what we were being investigated for isn't. And I think obviously you can't predict what the FA are actually going to do, but I think we helped ourselves. The board helped themselves because they self-reported to the FA. So I think that's going to make us look better, because if you look at any of the other, like, we cooperated basically, whereas when the FA have had previous cases in the past with clubs that haven't cooperated, yeah, like Man City, like Leicester last season caught an FFP charge. Yeah, so I think we've done well to kind of maybe smooth it out with the FA. So let's hope it's just a fine and no points deduction here. But I guess we'll know. I think they said we've got like 2 weeks to respond. I don't know what we're responding to, because we pretty much snitched on ourselves. So what is there to respond to now? So I'm not worried about that though, because obviously this has been news, and I think because basically the club brought in accountants when they were buying. No, sorry, Clear Lake brought in accountants when they were buying Chelsea, and they knew about these off the book payments, and it was factored into. It could be factored into what they actually paid for the club. So I think they've got the money for it, and I don't think it will be coming out of their pockets. So I'm not worried at all about it. It's not a Man City thing. And yeah, like we, what is it? Like we took a plea deal, man. Come on, like this is gonna. The lawyers will obviously speak to the judge and say, look, like, you know, we did our time. But yeah, we don't know. I think anything about that we just have to put to a side. Like, it's not anything Enzo Maresca needs to focus on right now. We just need to focus on climbing up the table. So that's how I feel about it.
So the other question I've got about this is you mentioned like your current owners were like flagging this to the FA or the Premiership or whatever Premier League when they were buying the club. Do you think this is factored into why they've gone absolutely berserk with all the signings? Do you think that maybe they're thinking we could get a transfer ban? Let's just front load this and try and get as many players as possible, so that if we have to, you know, sit down for a couple of years worth of transfer windows, then you'll be all right? Or do you think it's got the two aren't connected?
I don't think they're connected as such, but yeah, we've been here before. Like, we're well equipped for a transfer ban. This transfer ban, so be it. So be it. Cobham, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. There's more than one Rio Ungamoa. No, I'm joking. No, real talk though. We could get a transfer ban. I see that as that could be an outcome of this, but I do think we're well equipped to that. I don't think it ties in with the business model because no matter what, like death, taxes, and Chelsea flipping players, that's always there. So I don't think it ties in, but a transfer ban, we can cope with that. I mean, I've been sitting here screaming for a goalkeeper and maybe another defender for like God knows how long. We didn't go out and get one, so what's a transfer ban?
I'm not gonna lie, it might be what you guys actually need to just calm you down a bit, because there's just too many transfers going on. If you just have to play certain players, you may end up finding another gem in there somewhere. But yeah, you say Cobham, but there's about 67 players that you've bought in that are ahead of any of the Cobham youth products before they get a chance. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, what the hell is the point of all these charges? City got 115 or 135 or whatever the number of charges. These lot got 74. Meanwhile, Everton and Nottingham Forest get 3 or 4 and they get deducted 4 or 5 points or 6 points or whatever. What is the point of all this? It seems like clubs are getting treated a bit differently with the punishments. If you don't get points deduction, I'm just saying.
This is where the Cartel 6 comes into it, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like, this is the part where you've got the money, the means, and the experience to fight these charges, or to in this case, to create your strategy of just snitching on yourself like Gunnar, to get like all of this off your back, right? So that is where I think, you know, the Evertons, the Forests of the world, maybe they don't play the game as well. And we know that Chelsea are, you know, loophole settings every day of the week anyway. So you know that they've planned this out since when they bought it. I wouldn't be surprised if when they bought it, they already knew about all of this and they just tried to figure out, okay, when do I need to report it by? What is the best strategy for me to go ahead to get the smallest punishment possible? But from my point of view, if you've got 13 years of doing this, number one, you can't be telling me that it doesn't have any sporting merit or change on it, because it literally led to you having some of the best players you've ever had in your team. So that's the first one out the window. And if that goes out the window, then really a points deduction is minimal, right? You guys should be getting all of the trophies struck off. I would literally add up all of the money that you've got over the last 13 years from the various different competitions you played in and the finishes that you got, adjust it for inflation to today's rate, take all of that money off you as well, and stick you in fucking League Two.
We're not match fixing. Come on.
It doesn't matter if you're match fixing or not match fixing, right?
Calciopoli or whatever.
No, because let's put it this way, right? Like if somebody takes steroids or some sort of like performance enhancing drug, they're not technically match fixing either, right? It's called financial doping for a reason. You've used chances, man. Exactly. You've skewed the chances by buying players that you would literally not got any to go win. So in my opinion, stick you in League Two, forget about a points deduction. Enzo Maresca, it's your job to rebuild the whole team. It's a Juve setting, and then you'll learn your lesson. And same goes for City.
Yeah. It's not got so angry the internet started cutting out.
Yeah, I know. His internet couldn't handle his anger. But now, man, let's be realistic. I hear what you're saying, John. It's obviously a bit extreme, but I mean, that would help enforce the actual rules and get people to respect them if they came down mad hard on it. But pause. But I don't think they will. I think they'll fine them because they've self-reported all of this stuff, and because it's a previous regime, the lot of Chelsea lawyers will get them out of any big charge or massive kind of fine.
No, but I'm sorry. I've got my internet's going to cut out again because I'm raging. You can't be telling me that it's a new owner and that's the reason why you don't get punished, right? If you go and if a new investor goes and buys like a big, like let's say Google or something, and they've got some antitrust lawsuit against them, it doesn't mean that they get off with it. You still did mad things.
No, I know,
pay
bro.
For them.
I know. I'm just saying, realistically, the way that they've done this, and which is a very different way to City, right? Which is like a bit more passive, a bit more like you said, a bit more, snitchy. On yourself type situation, they're going to get away with not getting big points charged. It's like it is literally like copping a plea. You're going to get a deduction on what the punishment would have been because you haven't tried to pretend or kind of fight the charges off. They're not going to get some heavy fine. I mean, even a fine, I don't think it would be that heavy. It'll be light work for them. What did you get from UEFA? Because you get charged with something from UEFA and you paid
like 80 million, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I thought it was less. I thought it was like 30 or 35 or something.
It was going to go up.
No, it was like it was like 30 million, but then it would have gone up if we didn't basically have a positive transfer balance.
Yeah. That's why you had to sell more players, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's why we helped you buying your Deadwood. Okay, great.
Yeah, my brother.
We always get back to the same issue. But now, I mean, all right. So, what do you think, Razor? What do you think is going to? I know you might come, a little bit harsher with the punishment on this one, but what do you think realistically is going to happen?
No. I've been yelling points deduction just on the basis of the fact that, kind of what Jonty said, like a quarter of the way into his ragey rant, which was that it does feel quite peak that it basically looks like if you're a smaller club, if you're a Forest, if you're an Everton and kind of deal, and you fall foul of the rules. Obviously, I'm not saying that these are the exact same rules, but I'm saying that it feels like generally the vibe is if you fall foul of the rules and you're smaller, like Jonty was saying, if you've got less financial or legal capability to sort of dredge the FA down in paperwork, which is my understanding of how Man City have avoided anything happening to them for so long. It feels like you're kind of impervious to any kind of action. I feel like Jonty's sentiment, but not as strongly as him. I do feel like we gotta it's a plea deal, isn't it? Like if you cop the deal, if you cop that you're guilty, you do deserve to have your punishment reduced. I do believe that generally. I'm not going to change that just because it's Chelsea and I hate them. Overall, I just think it's the length of time that these things kind of went on for, and it's one of those things where like John said, you can't claim that you didn't get a sporting advantage if it was ongoing for such a long period of time. So I think there needs to be an equal there needs to be a semblance of both of those elements in the response. I think what will happen is that they'll get a fine. I think that will be the majority of their things. I think a transfer ban, considering what the specific thing was, could also be on the horizon. I think it's highly unlikely that we'll see a points deduction. That being said, points deduction.
And on that, right, I was just researching, Everton also put in an early guilty plea, and they got it reduced from 10 to 2. So if I don't see 20, 30, 40 reduced to 15, I've lost faith.
John's just jumped out the window with high points. Gone crazy. All right, let's get into the actual match prediction. We're not going to chat too much about this game because I don't think there's any massive talking points from the actual playing side of things. Let's get straight into the predictions then. So, John, what's your prediction on this Brentford Chelsea?
Because Brentford at home, they actually look all right. Because I had predicted them to go down, but I think I changed that in our most recent episode. I'm going to go for... I'll go for a 2-1 Chelsea win.
All right, 2-1. Rhys, what's your prediction on this one, bro?
Although I don't think Brentford have found the form they need. I mean, they got a win against Villa, but I still don't think they look great. I still think they're finding their way. I think it will be a cagey game, so I'm going to go 1-1. Just because I think we'll find it difficult to advance and break them down, especially if Palmer's not playing. So, and with the fans at the GTEC, I think it's going to be, quite a close affair. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Damn, I wasn't expecting that, man. Razor, what's your prediction, bro?
I kind of run with Rhys's analysis. I think it's pretty spot on. But I have a bit more faith in his boys in blue. I think they're going to come out on top. Pause. I think potentially I'm leaning towards a 3-1, but I'm going to say 2-1. I think it will be cagey. I think Palmer is the real difference maker there. If he's fit to play and he's playing the way that we know Cole Palmer can play, then it's going to make a difference. If he's fit to play but doesn't show up, I think that will make the game cagier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what, guys? I'm shocked, man. I can't believe you lot have all gone really tight score lines on this one, because I know Brentford have had, a couple of decent performances here and there. I still think they're crap, man. I still think Chelsea are going to batter them, even without Palmer. The way you guys played in that last game, I know it was a bit ropey, but and the West Ham game, West Ham have been dodgy as well. But I think you guys are going to beat them, and I don't think it will be as close a scoreline as you guys have gone. Because looking at everyone else, Io's gone 2-1, Chelsea as well, and Kemladen's gone 1-1.
Can I change mine to 3-1?
You've just snuck it because I hadn't said mine yet.
Yeah.
And you've stolen my scoreline, you bastard. All right. 3-1. Rhys, your feedback on your mic's going nuts.
Oh, is it?
Going absolutely nuts. You're gonna have to go on mute when you're not chatting. Yeah, I couldn't even hear myself think. All right, I'm gonna go higher scoring on this one. I'm gonna go Chelsea to win 3-2. And the only reason why I give Brentford a couple goals is because I think your defense is still a bit. I don't really believe in Sanchez that much, and you're obviously missing a few of your key defenders. So I think you might leak a few goals, but I think you'll get the dub. And that's mostly because Razor stole my scoreline, you bastard. All right, let's go on to the next game. We can do this one quickly as well, but I guess the biggest talking point from West Ham Spurs is that Daniel Levy's gone. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not have this on my bingo card. I was absolutely shocked when they announced that he's gone. And to make it even worse, I think Vinay's their CEO, isn't he? So they've gone full Arsenal with their setup going forward. But what do you lot make of this? Because Spurs fans have been calling for him to leave for ages. Although he brought them, a trophy recently, have turned them into a Big Six club. They've probably got the best stadium in the league. What do you guys make of this? I'll go to you, Jonty, first. What do you make of this decision to get rid of him?
It feels like kind of the end of Wenger for me. It's like the smart business, stable choice. The one that's got experience and knows how to run a club. That phase of Tottenham, I think, is probably over to a certain extent, because I was reading that like ENIC, they've realized that they want to actually go for it now. And so I think it just kind of speaks to the fact that I think Tottenham are going to go out and go a bit crazy now. I mean, even the Xavi Simons signing was kind of uncharacteristic for them, because we saw with the Eze signing, we saw with a lot of other things that they usually get in transfer windows, is that they're picking from the bottom. They're picking the scraps at the bottom after everyone else is finished. And I think there might be kind of a new day at Tottenham, which is sad for me to say. And I do think that Tottenham fans should pay respect to Levy, because he's put them in a really good financial position. They've got a wonderful stadium. They've got crazy sponsorship deals that they don't deserve. They've got a decent manager now who can actually get them into a good place. So from my point of view, they got to put some respect on Daniel Levy's name. I know he's not always their favourite in that, but for a mid-table team, they did all right. They're in a good place now. So yeah, I think they got to be careful though, because it doesn't always go well going from. I look at Arsenal as an example. It doesn't always go well going from not spending any money to starting to spend off of like, let's say, not so great league performances. So I think they do have to be a bit careful. But I think, you know, Thomas Frank in position as well, I think it's overall going to be a good spot for them to build. And I think, you know, they're going to be a lot better over the next few years than we've become accustomed to them being. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure, but I didn't have it on my bingo card either. And it's just because, like, Levy's an owner, right? He owns part of the club. So that also kind of put him in a position where it's like difficult to kind of get rid of a guy that is also like a minority shareholder of the team. But it sounds like that they kind of did some Born Identity stuff in the background to try and get rid of him. And I've just got a little ping that Arsenal have scored. Come on.
Set piece
So that
again.
was the-
Set piece again. Ole, ole.
I took Zubamendi out my team,
I
bro.
don't actually know if it was a set piece. I just assumed.
Zubamendi
Yeah, I was
scored
gonna
it, so
say,
he's 5'4". I doubt he's scored a set piece, but
No.
yeah, it's a shame because I swapped him out for bloody Enzo. What am I doing?
Terrible.
I mean, I
terrible.
get that though, because Zubi's hasn't been like a prolific goal scorer in his like previous at Real Sociedad, so it would be a weird one for you to put him in. You got to look for them goal scoring midfielders, isn't it? But now, Reza, what do you make of it, bro? Do you agree with Jonty? Do you think it was a bit of a strange one and maybe like a sign of intent from Tottenham that they might go for it a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think, again, like when we get away from like this sort of polarized tribal football Twitter, whatever you want to call it, kind of way of perceiving the game, I think so much has been made this summer, this transfer window, of like clubs not being able to do what they want, even though they feel like they've got all the money in the world. And that's because they haven't built that revenue and the income sustainably, like through the club. And I think Tottenham did it. You know, we did it. I think like there's a point in time where you almost have to suffer a little bit, or you have to like you can't go crazy like from the word go. You have to build it sustainably. And as boring as it is, and as probably like disappointing as it was for the fans at Spurs, like I was disappointed when we didn't make crazy break the bank signings at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you know, being told like, oh yeah, like we're investing in the stadium, that's not really doing anything for me, mate. I'm still getting bantered about us losing. Do you know what I'm saying? But bloody hell, sorry, I just seen that Zubamendi goal. Cracker. Sorry, that distracted the fuck out of me. But yeah, no, essentially, I think you have to do it sometimes, and it's a bit boring. And I think him being an owner and probably having the opportunity and the power to sort of stay there for a long time, or a long, you know, probably to the point where you'd have to be pushed rather than jump. I think it's good that there's been a time and they're kind of drawing a line in it and being like, yeah, new era. Yeah, I think Spurs fans should be happy. I think, you know, some of the other clubs around them, man, in the table should be a bit worried because they look like they got some intent. Yeah, I think it's good. Like, I think, you know, Spurs fans, I agree though. I think they should be respectful in terms of maybe not loving Levy week in, week out, transfer window in, window out in the decisions he was making. But I think they need to be grateful for someone dedicating that amount of time to the project and building it in a sustainable way. I personally am grateful for all of the years of banter that he gave me. So yeah,
Zero charges as well throughout his whole time. Zero
yeah,
charges.
man. As much as no, that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I dislike Spurs, like you have to respect someone football wise doing it the quote unquote proper way. Do you know what I'm saying?
I knew you guys were gonna. I knew
rapscallions.
you guys were going to point out the right way in air quotes, and that's why it's a perfect time to throw it to you. Rhys,
He didn't fire any dinner
think...
ladies either, man.
Oh, he settled down. So I'm sure he did. When they moved stadium, I'm sure they did. But I think they just don't get the same media coverage that all Spurs do. They. But Rhys, from one club who did it the right way, I feel like Chelsea are the polar opposite, right? Like, you guys do things quick, move quick, win trophies, but spend money, move crazy. What do you make of this? Do you think it was the right decision to get rid of him to be a bit more ambitious, or do you kind of admire the way they went about it?
I think so. I think it is a bit sudden though, like for them to just come to this decision, like a few games into the season. I thought if a decision like this would have been made, it would have been made at the end of the season rather than after the transfer window shut. So I do find it a bit odd at the timing of this whole thing. But I think in their statement, they said it's more of a sporting direction they want to go in. So it could be a new era for Spurs and the way they kind of go about things in the market, particularly, like you said, they brought in the Arsenal guys. And maybe they want to push Tottenham to go to the next level. But yeah, like pretty much what the other two, like Johnson, Razor said, they can't, because obviously he's taken them from where they were kind of in the early 2000s and like the 90s up to being that top club. So it's just now taking them to the next level. So they can never fault like what Daniel Levy's actually done for them. He's always had their best interests at heart, and he's always managed them well with the money that they generate. And that's the whole reason they did like this stadium, because they wanted Spurs to be more sustainable off the money they generate rather than investments in the club. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the way they still do things. Like, are they going to go wild in the transfer market? But yeah, no, I think only time will tell sort of how much Spurs improve. But I would just say, I just feel it's a bit sudden. Like, I don't know if like it's a bit
You should be happy though, because now you've got another team that you can sell your deadwood to. And you've got the Arsenal leadership in there as well. They've literally got the same DNA. You can start shifting them to them instead of us.
The thing is, I think we hate Spurs so much. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. I think the Chelsea Spurs thing is some hate. Yeah, Chelsea and Arsenal don't have the same level of hate that Chelsea and Spurs have. So I don't know if it's that easy for you to sell between them. But it makes sense. All right, we've talked too long about Spurs, considering we have no Spurs fans on this pod. Let's get straight to the prediction. John's going to you first. What do you think for this game, West Ham Spurs?
This is a really weird one because like both of the teams in the last result were the opposite of what I expected them to be. Like West Ham went out and won, was it 3-0 or whatever? Spurs end up losing, and I'm just like, what the hell went on there? So I'm really in two minds now, but I'm just going to ignore what happened last week, and I'm just going to say West Ham are crap, Spurs look good, and I'm just going to go for a 3-1 Spurs win.
All right, 3-1 from Jonts. Kem's gone 3-1 as well to Spurs, and Io's gone 2-0 to Spurs as well. Rhys, what's your prediction for this one?
I was going to go 3-1, man, but everyone's gone 3-1. I don't know what to do now. I'll go 4-1 because you know what it is. I think obviously Bournemouth are actually a good team. We can't write them off, but I do think West Ham are still poor. I think Forest under Nuno have that kind of style of play of come and attack and will counter attack, and that I think it just played into West Ham's hands a bit easier last game. So I don't know how they'll cope with a good structured Spurs side, and it seems weird saying that after last season, but I'll go 4-1 just because of you lot. But for the record, I had 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, for the record doesn't count on this one, bro. Sorry, you'll see that from the last one. I had to pivot as well because of
an asterisk under this one.
Is that why I'm lost? Is that why I'm lost for this one?
Yeah. The lowest in the table always goes last because it gives them a chance to listen to everyone else.
I'm always last. I'm gonna be the one who has to follow up. So don't fucking take my scoreline again, bro. But yeah, Razor, what's your prediction?
You need to learn from the people at the top of the table, mate.
Nah, mate. I'm a rogue.
Funny.
I'm a rebel.
I was thinking 3-1, and then when you were like Jonty and Kem, I was like, right, if Jonty and Kem are agreeing, that can't be good. So probably need to change that. Then I was like, maybe I could see them scoring another one, 4-1. Then Rhys. So now I'm like, do I hide there or do I get bold with it and try and take all the points and all the glory? I don't know. Like you see the thing, like the Bournemouth game, yeah, like they won. Bournemouth won 1-0 innit?
Yeah, should have been about 6, but it was 1. Yeah.
I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs.
Wow. All right. 3-0.
Man are feeling the pressure of the lights, aren't they? Can they do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke, mate?
Honestly. And I hear what you lot are saying though, because the last game week's thrown a spanner in the works. I think if this game had come at that time instead, with the way that the two teams were playing, I think this would have been really straightforward. Weirdly, I think we'd have all probably gone for the same scorelines though. But now I see a lot of goals in this one because I don't think Frank will set up to be pragmatic against West Ham because they're there for the taking. But weirdly, I think Spurs at that stadium have struggled in the last couple of years, so I don't think they're gonna just absolutely breeze it. So I'm gonna go Spurs to win 2-1, which weirdly I think none of you lot have predicted. So I've got a chance. All right, let's get on to the next game, Burnley Liverpool. Since Kem's not here, we can breeze through this one as well because it's boring. Who wants to talk about Liverpool? I guess the only talking point is the Isak Ekitike stuff. He's obviously there. He's in their clobber, doing all the training clips that they've been pumping out everywhere. Do you lot actually think there's a chance they'll play together? Because I'm a little bit skeptical about this. I think, in my opinion anyway, I think they'll end up maybe pushing Ekitike out to the left, but I think he could also ride bench for a little bit too. But what do you lot make? Rhys, I'll go to you first. Do you think they'll play together or do you think this is going to hurt Hugo's chances?
Not today. They're not going to play together today, I don't think. But in the future, I think it's really going to come down to form. Slot kind of strikes me as the kind of manager that will play people based on, like, he wants to win, innit? Like, that's what happens when you're defending the title, innit? So I think definitely you don't break the flipping transfer fee record for the second time in one summer and play the person that you signed out of position. Do you know what I mean? So I reckon when Isak's at full fitness, he's going to be nailed on starter for going through the middle. And then Hugo's going to basically have to fight Cody Gakpo, which makes me feel a bit bad for Cody Gakpo because I feel like he's had a good start to the season. But again, like they spent a lot of money on Hugo. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I think, can they play together? We're going to have to see. I don't think that's going to be how it starts out. I think it's going to be like for like, especially with Isak like having a bit of a sort of slope to fitness. But yeah, I'm interested. I haven't seen enough of Hugo on the left, but he looks like he can do everything, and he looks very comfortable. So I don't think like him playing on the left is necessarily going to be a big like problem for him. It just might not be where he necessarily wants to play. But Isak has to play through the middle. That's non-negotiable. Just like neither of them are going to play on the right because of Salah. Like, Isak has to play through the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that would be diabolical if you spend 125, 30 million or whatever and you start playing him out of position. I don't think that can run. But I've got an interesting question to pose the other two of you. Isak scored a bag of goals, but he had Gordon and Murphy, I guess, in that most recent season, providing a lot of assists. Do you think he's going to be able to get that same output with Salah and either Gakpo or Ekitike, who are slightly more of your traditional inside forward attacking, want to score a lot of goals themselves type of wide men? Or do you think it should work out? Rhys, I'll go to you. Do you think he's going to bag just as many goals as he did last season?
Yeah, 100%. No, because Liverpool still create chances at the end of the day, and obviously there's a lot of slander going around about Wirtz, but wasn't he brought in to be that creative figure for them? So if it works out, I think there has to be a creative source from the midfield as well. It's not just going to be at the front three. So I don't see sort of him being provided with goals that much of an issue, because Liverpool will always score goals. They concede a lot recently, but they are good at like scoring. So I don't think that would be a problem. Depending, and also in terms of Ekitike, I mean, they must have had a conversation with him before he joined about their plans and what they sort of expected from him. So I don't think he'll be like completely casted out. And I do think, depending on the type of game, maybe when Liverpool need to get a result, He could start out wide, but maybe he could come in and play off Isak as well, because I think he is good on the ball and he's good. He could hold up the ball. So I do think I could see him playing with Isak just as much. But I do think in terms of like if we're going like starter for starter, then it's always going to be Isak. But yeah, definitely depending on the type of game, it could easily involve the two of them.
Yeah, no. I think that's interesting, man. I agree. I think they're definitely going to start eventually in their like ideal starting lineup, but I am a bit skeptical about the output. I think they're going to have to. All three of them are going to share the goals more than having one player, I think, score far and away more than anyone else, like Salah has previously, or like Isak has at Newcastle. But Johns, let's get your score prediction and bundle your opinion into this as well. What do you think is going to be the scoreline? And what do you think of the Isak situation?
I'll go quickly. Scoreline: Burnley are good, but they're not good enough, so they're going to get battered 4-0. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like the whole Ekitike and Isak thing, like I think Ekitike will get pushed out to the left-hand side, and I do feel same way Razor said. Like I feel really bad for Gakpo because they're not exactly the same player, but they're both tall, lanky, quite fast, quite direct players. And I'd say Ekitike is like a techier version of him. So I feel like Gakpo is not going to get a look into that team once Isak is properly starting. In terms of the output, there is no. I'll regret when I say this, but there's no way that they're all bagging 20 goals. Like it's not possible if all of them do that. And I'd argue that like Salah might be the one that suffers the most, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because he was like literally the one that was just putting it away. I think you've already seen these first few games, like he's not really getting as many chances to put stuff away as he was before. He hasn't got someone like Nunez or whatever that he can kind of push out of the way and just ball hog or whatever. So I think he's going to probably be the one that suffers the most out of all of them, which is going to be really weird for FPL. It's going to be a big transition season for FPL where everyone was just captaining him or Haaland. But I genuinely think Salah is going to suffer the most. And I wouldn't be surprised if Isak gets somewhere between 20-25, Ekitike gets somewhere between 15 to 20, and you see Salah maybe in like the 10-ish range. But I don't see how they're all getting 20 goals or more. So someone's going to suffer. And from my point of view, it makes the most sense, given the fact that they're trying to play a slightly different way, that Salah actually ends up being the one that suffers out of all of them, because it doesn't look like they're building their team around him anymore where they kind of were before. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think also when AFCON goes on as well, it's going to be weird, like to see how they shape up without him. I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe see, I don't know, Verts on the right hand side or somebody else, but it's going to be a weird one to see. And I'll answer your first question. They're never playing 4-4-2 because they're already so open as it is. There's no way that them man are playing up top together. I wouldn't actually be surprised though if Ekitike pushes Wirtz out. If Squirts is having a stinker and he continues to have a stinker, I wouldn't even be surprised if I see Ekitike starting in like the 10 because he's got the facilities for it. He's got the play for it. He's physical as well, particularly. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in certain games starting there. So Squirts, you are come on down. You're definitely looking like you might be flopping the season at this point, mate.
Yeah, that was actually the thing I was going to respond to when Rhys said they've obviously got Wirtz and he's going to be the playmaker. I'm going for it, man. I think Wirtz is shit. I don't think he's gonna provide anything near what he did in Bundesliga, and he's going to find out that you can't play counter-attacking football and just like be 2-on-2 or 2-on-1 in loads of points of the game when you're playing for a Leverkusen or one of the big clubs. So I actually think Salah's he's already been transitioning into this more of a playmaker role, even though last season he still scored loads of goals. I think if they didn't have Noodles up front, he would have also, and you Arsenal guys are not going to be happy, but he probably would have broken the Henry assist record if he actually had Noodles.
So some maybes.
Now that he has Isak, right? I actually think that you're right, Johns. He'll probably score less goals, but I wouldn't be shocked if his assist numbers go up because I see him being kind of more of the playmaker now in that team and less of like the finisher. But yeah, Rhys, what's your prediction on this one? You're next on the list. Do you also think it's going to be a smashing 4-0?
No, I'm not going to say 4-0, but I would say 3. Just because I guess Burnley, they're not like, I mean, defensively they had a very good record in the Championship, so they might be difficult to break down. But I think once the first goal goes in, it might get a bit easier for Liverpool in an attacking sense.
Can I remind you that Man United put 3 past them?
Yeah.
We're good in attack, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, shut up.
We put 2 past Grimsby as well. Come on, the mighty Grimsby.
It's a good point, but Man United can be got at.
Shameless.
Liverpool can't. So I think...
Yeah, they can. What are you talking about? Liverpool conceded more goals than us.
I think, I'm going to go 3-0. Yeah, Liverpool. I do think they'll obviously overrun them, and they'll be it'll be a lot of Liverpool attacking. So I do think 3-0 is a fair scoreline for them.
All right, you've gone 3-0. John's gone 4-0. Kem's gone 2-0, and Io's gone 3-1. Liverpool, all for Liverpool. What's your take on this one, Razor?
I think Liverpool are going to win. I think Liverpool are going to win big. I think for me, it's more a decision of whether Liverpool are going to keep a clean sheet, which I don't think they've necessarily looked super confident on doing so far this season, apart from in their game against us, which was easily their cagiest and least open game that they've played this season so far. So, yeah, I do think that I can see them scoring 3. I can see them scoring 4. I don't think Johnson's gone too far off the deep end there. I just don't know if they're gonna keep a clean sheet. So I think I'm gonna go 4-1.
You bastard. Fucking again. You've done it again.
I was slightly actually wondering if I could change it to that, because that actually sounds a bit better than mine. Shit.
Oh, man. I'm just getting... I've got no chance of getting off the bottom of the table the way this is. I'm all right. I'm going to have to pivot, man. I'm going to have to... I want to say 4-1 as well. That was what I was thinking throughout all of you guys. No, I can't, man. No, I can't. I'm going to go Liverpool to win 2-1, even though that tells, like, the logic in me tells me that's a ridiculous call, because I think there's going to be lots of goals in this, but I can't see a Liverpool clean sheet. But yeah, Burnley, I can't see them scoring more than 1. But the only hope is Liverpool's attack kind of don't have their shooting boots on and somehow only manage to score 2. But I think they probably will score more than that. All right, let's go on to the Manc derby then. First one of the season at the Etihad. Yeah, and I don't know if there's too many talking points, because both of us are down bad. Both of us are, I mean, they're even below us, which is bizarre considering how ropey we've been this season so far. I guess the only call is, who does Amorim play in goal? I know he said in the press conference he's playing Bayindir, but honestly, I'm shitting it. If he's playing Bayindir, I'm shitting it almost as much as I would be if he was playing Onana. And you guys know what I think of Onana. So yeah, what do you guys make of this call? Do you think we should be throwing the young kid in? Or do you think it makes sense to keep Bayindir in with this one? I'll go with you, Johns, first. Do you think it's the right call?
No, you got to go for Bayindir, man. Like, if you want Lamens to actually have a career at Man United, you do not start him against Haaland in his first week in the Premier League just to get packed out. Like, I'm sorry to say, Bayindir's stock is already low. He's already done at United. There's no point, right? Just let him hold 3 or 4, whatever he's going to hold, and just move on. Let Lamens come in when you're playing, I don't know, someone crap. When you're playing, I'm trying to think who's really crap. When you're playing West Ham or someone like that, or when you're playing like 11v11 in training, let him come in then and just let him get find his feet. So, I don't think it's a good idea. I know that Man United fans are desperate to not see Bayindir or Onana in their goal. I think you're gonna have to settle for 1 out of 2. Trabzonspor's finest is off now. Be happy with that, but don't push it too far, because you know, you can't just keep on buying goalkeepers like bloody Chelsea buy centre backs. You've got to actually find a goalkeeper that you want and keep them. And if you care about this guy at all, let my man have a bit of a chance to see what's going on before you throw him in front of bloody Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. I think logically speaking, this is the sensible decision. But I don't think any Man United fans are still in sensible mode. We've all lost it. So I get why all the fans are saying let's just throw Lamens in there, because we've already seen Bayindir in a lot of games. He's already cost us. You could say, 3 points in the Arsenal game. I don't think he was really at fault for the Fulham one. And then with Burnley, again, I don't know if you could blame him. Really, it was more a midfield and defensive issues that I think cost us. So I think we're on a hide into nothing either way. But probably you got to protect Lamens a bit, and give him a bit of time to at least train with the team, because I think that's the other thing, to come in off the back of an international break where I know he hasn't gone on international duty, but the rest of the team are not really there. He's not able to really integrate with everyone. It will be really, really risky to throw him in straight away. But I hear it. All right, Razor, what's your opinion on this one? And kind of maybe let's throw a spanner in the works. Let's get you doing the predictions first on this game.
He's determined to do anything he can to not have the same score prediction as me.
Mate, I've got to change the order.
I think, do you know what? I think it's a lose-lose putting in the new lad. There's a big risk. If he plays well, cool, stunner. If he doesn't, you might have shot his confidence. Bayindir, you guys said you know what you're getting with him. And to be honest, like, if you hadn't signed this guy, you'd have him or Nana. You'd be screwed. So like John said, like 1 out of 2 is not bad. Do you know what I'm saying? I think this is I was watching a pod the other day. Someone called it a mid-off. I saw someone online call it a cheeks-off. Battle of the least informed. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think prediction-wise, let me get that bit out first. I think it's going to be 3-1 City or 2-1 City. 2-1 City, 2-1 City. I'm going with. I think, like City are just. I think City are just a little bit better than United, despite their current like fall off of form. And I think they're gonna like put it all on the line for the derby at home in front of the fans. I just don't think United have enough. Like, they haven't done enough with that midfield. I heard Money Mace is injured now as well. So I think Pep's midfield hasn't been doing all the things that it wanted to do, but I think they've got enough to overrun United in it. So I think it'll be KG. That's why. Do you know what, Jonty? You can have it. I'll go 3-1. I actually think it's gonna be 3-1. I think it will be KG, and then City will get a bit of confidence and run away with it. So I convinced myself there. But yeah.
I was gonna say man's bouncing around. All right. So 3-1 for Razor on that one. Rhys, what's your prediction on this one?
Yeah, prediction wise, I'm gonna go 2-0 to City. I definitely think this is a game where City can get their confidence back, and Haaland can get a goal or two because I've captained him, obviously. But no, like in general, because it's at the Etihad, right? Yeah. I can't see. I think United are still poor at the end of the day. City are poor, but they can get results. So I'm gonna go 2-0. Like, don't get me wrong, I think United are still coming back wounded from Grimsby and their start to the season. So I think there will be, and it's a Manchester derby. So I definitely think there'll be a bit of fight there, but it's still City at home. I think they'll still grab the win. So like you guys pretty much said, you can't really throw Lamens in a Manchester derby. His first game is a bit mad So if you're going to ruin anyone's reputation, it might as well be Bayindir's at this time. So,
Has he even got a reputation left?
Exactly.
I don't even know, bro. Just ruining him, throwing him out to the wolves, man. I love how you guys just sacrifice Bayindir is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Throw him to the wolves, man. Like it would have been a different story if it was like Martinez coming in like that. He was linked with United before, then obviously you throw him in. But, it's not, and obviously we don't know much about this new guy. So stick to Bayindir at least for now. I was going to say use him in the cups, but obviously this can't do that, can you?
All right, settle down. All right, let's move on before you keep going. Jonts, what's your prediction on this one?
I'm going to go for 2-1, and I would characterize it as a bum fight. In addition to being a mid-off, because both of you stink. And I want to remind everyone that Man United were even worse, arguably even worse last year, and you managed to beat them. So
this wouldn't be like so far. I'm not impressed by your analysis, guys, and especially Io in the chat as well, waffling shit. You guys are saying mid-off, but every single person has gone City win by like at least a couple goals. Johnson, I think you're the only one who's made it a 1-goal difference. So it's not adding up, guys. Yeah,
and I mean, I think everyone is just underestimating how bad City have looked so far as well. Like, I know the first week was all right, but that can be kind of deceiving. And I do think they're still going to struggle. Like, of course, there's a part of me that says, Haaland scored 5 goals against Moldova, and he's basically playing the Manny Moldova today or tomorrow. So maybe there's a chance that he goes and slaps you up 11-1, But just what I know about football and what I know about this Manchester derby and just Man United playing any kind of derby, outside of Liverpool spanking them 7-0, it doesn't happen frequently for them to really, really hold beatings like this. I know that City have also, beaten you 5-2 or whatever it was before, but I do think it will be cagier. And I think you've also got to bear in mind, are they going to probably start Donnarumma? And I'm sorry to say, yes, he's a good goalkeeper, but he's got a stinker in him as well. So you might be playing, Donnarumma against Turkish Donnarumma. Who knows? So we'll go 2-1 City.
Donnarumma versus Turkish Doner Kebab. I love it. All right, you lot have been disgraceful with this analysis, I have to say. Jonty's a little bit fairer. Because I guess Rhys also said, it's a mid-off and cheek-off and everything like that. But I'm sorry, guys. City are shit. I'll say it. We're rubbish, right? And we've been rubbish for ages. But if I'm going off performances in the league, all right, Grimsby, right? If we're going on the league, we've been better than City so far. I'm not hearing it. They beat Wolves, and that game should have been a lot tighter. And Wolves are arguably, in that relegation fight, one of the worst teams in the league. They've played Spurs at home, got slapped, played Brighton away, and got beaten, right? And probably should have got beaten by more goals, right? I'm sorry. They are crap. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not even going to go draw, even though I can see it maybe being a draw. But I reckon we're going to win 2-1. So I'm going to go United to win 2-1. I can see it now. And Mbeumo on the break, or Kinder Bueno, or whatever Kem Laden calls him, on the break is going to pulverize City. And so he might not score a lot of goals, but we may miss some chances. But I can see they're going to struggle. And the thing you guys have not factored in, which probably should have, City have got crazy injuries for this game, guys.
They do.
They're missing half of their team. Half of their team is out. And so, I can't see it. As much as Haaland, has been scoring goals for fun, and the Manny Moldova is definitely going to be clipped at some point and will be a funny joke going forward. City are the Manny Moldova right now. They're crap, man. So I'm going to go 2-1 United.
Oh, you are staying on the bottom of the league. You are clearly staying on the bottom of that prediction table.
Come on, guys. If I'm going to be bottom, I'm going to be back in my team. Come on.
Get you killed, bro.
Yeah, it's all right. I've got to have faith, man. All right, let's go on to the next section of the pod, transfer grades. We obviously did this a few weeks back. There's been a few more transfers that have come in, so we'll run through this real quick. But we'll start with Liverpool. Obviously, they're the champions. They're top of the table, right, at the moment. They've brought in Isak for 125 million since we last spoke on this, and a young Italian lad, Leone, or whatever his name is, for near enough 30 million. They've managed to flog Doak from somehow. I don't know how, for 20 million since then as well. So yeah, let's get into the grades. Razor, let's start with you, bro. What's your final grade now on Liverpool's transfer work?
It's got to be an A star, hasn't it? It's got to be an A plus. Yeah, there's not much you can say. I feel like
No Gahey?
no Gahey. I feel like, yeah, if Konate was to have gone this window, I would be like, or if there was like more links with Konate this window than there had been, I would be like, something more concrete. But Gahey clearly wanted to go there. If he doesn't end up going there, they will find another centre back, maybe not as ready to step straight into their team, maybe not as prem proven, but you got to give credit where it's due. A, on the buy-in, like they've basically done the wish list approach and got everything they wanted. And B, on the selling, like they've gotten cracking like sort of returns on some of the players that they had, and they've managed to send out some of their players like Harvey Elliott to like other places so that they can get like more game time and, you know, develop as players there. So I think, yeah, got to give it an A plus. I think if they just spent a shit ton of money and hadn't really done any selling, there might be some questions there, but, you know, yeah, it's looking really, really good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I would be shocked if any of us gave them lower than an A, but yeah, the A plus one's interesting. Johns, what's your rating on their transfer business?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to give him an A plus as well, because I mean, you don't have to get full marks to get an A plus. You need to get close to him. And I mean, yes, if you got Guehi, then yes, that would be one of the best, or the best window we've ever seen in the Premier League. And I'd argue that it is already the best window I've seen in the Premier League. Like outside of a Real Madrid window, this is mental to see people break the record twice for people that actually you'd argue deserve to break records for. Right? I know Wirtz has been not very good so far, but I mean, coming into the league, you'd have said, okay, he is £100 million player, and they spent more than £100 million on him. So that kind of makes sense. And then Ekitike, I mean, maybe if you looked at it before he came in, you'd say, okay, maybe that could go either way. So probably out of all of them, that's the most like that, and Leone are probably the most iffy ones just based off of the hype of the player. But the fact that you've seen him for 3 weeks now and he looks like really, really good, I think that pushes that signing up as well. And it looks like he's going to be really good for them too. And then if you're buying a left back and a right back, what's available on the market? I mean, Kirkes was arguably the best left back in the league last year. Frimpong is highly touted as a really good right back and young. And there was a lot of people, you know, other people in for him. So I don't think you can look at any of them and be like, oh, they aren't one of the top 1, 2, or 3 best signings in that position that you could have actually got. Because I'm taking like buying Haaland and all these crazy things out of it, buying Mbappe, because that was never on the table. They've literally gone and strengthened in all of those positions, right? So from my point of view, there's no way that you can say that that's not an A plus. And then outs, they've got a crazy amount of money for players that stink. Like Nunes, getting 55 million for him is mental, right? Doak, I mean, yeah, everyone talks about, yeah, he looks like he's a good player, but no one's actually ever seen him play well in the Premier League. So that's mental. Kwanzaa had a generational stinker last year, and somehow Eric Ten Hag has, you know, done his final sign-off to the Premier League of giving Liverpool a bunch more money for someone who stinks. So, yeah, there's no way that doesn't go down as an A-plus season, and I'm going to come out and say it is the best Premier League window you've ever seen. So don't go anywhere. Don't scared. Liverpool to win the quadruple.
Man's gone crazy with the pressure. All right, Rhys, what's your grade on this one for Liverpool's transfer window?
Yeah, it's not too much more I can say that these guys haven't. It has to be an A star. They've obviously gone out and strengthened. And the thing is, like, people might laugh at the quadruple chance, but they do actually have a fully like squad depth to go and do that, to challenge for these trophies, to rotate players when they need rotating. So yeah, I think also one thing you have to say about Liverpool as well, they did, other than Isak, they did all their business quite early. Like, they got a lot done. They got everything done early so they could get these players in for pre-season as well. So I think that's going to benefit them a lot. And then they just left the rest of the window to go for Isak, which obviously it was played out, but we all knew it was going to end up at the end of the window if it was going to happen. So yeah, props to Liverpool winning the league and then going to strengthening to the degree that they did. You have to give them that, and then you can't really see anyone else favourites based on their transfer window. So it's an 8 star.
All right. All of you guys going A plus, A star, whatever you want to call it. I hear it, man. I think I get the shouts of you don't have to get 100 out of 100 to get an A star. You can get 95, or you can get a question or two wrong and still get an A star. But the reason why I'm going to drop it a little bit lower and give it just an A is because they actually needed a defender, like a proper defender. It's not a case of, oh, it was a nice to have type situation. If they got Gahey instead of the Italian youth, I would go with you. I'd say A plus. They maybe are missing one body, but at least they've got the top centre back to have at least 3 centre backs where they feel comfortable are going to be, quadruple level, quality. And I think if Virgil, or even as much as Konate's had, a bit of a stinker this season so far, if one of them get injured, you're looking at Gomez, right? And I'm sorry, what's his face ended Gomez years ago. Mitoma ended him years ago. So I'm not having Gomez as your third choice centre back. And this Leone guy, he could be class, but he's a youngster. We'll only know that in the future. So I get it. The attack, they went absolutely nuts to break your transfer window twice, and that's not including Ekatike, who cost like 95 million euros or whatever it was. Like, they've gone absolutely berserk. And then fullbacks, they've got the names. Kirk has proven Premier League left back, although he's looked dodgy as well so far. Frimpong, Leverkusen, Dutch international. They're good players, but I think if they got Gahey instead of that Leone, it would be certified A plus. And I think
they had a Premier League winning. They had a Premier League winning defense last year, right? They conceded.
Liverpool,
they conceded
they've got rid of the
second least goals. Yeah, but they won. They got rid of Quansah, and I'd argue that Leone has to be as good, or if not better than him. Like, outside of that, they lost a big.
I think Quansah is.
Yeah, he stinks, man. Like, he's a body in there doing nothing. But anyway, my point is, right, like, they won with him last year. They got rid of him and have probably upgraded on him. So how do you say that defense still needs? Of course, yes. If you were looking at Arsenal with bloody 8 centre backs or whatever they want to try and say about us, and you say, oh yeah, they don't have enough depth. But man, they won it with the amount of depth that they had last year.
No, but that's two extremes, because Arsenal have got 15 centre backs. Doesn't mean Liverpool need to have 15 to be more solid. They could have 3. I've just said if they had like Gahey on top of Konate and Van Dijk, I would say they've got no excuses. Quads on.
Joe Gomez play cricket now?
Bro, he's shit. Come on, man. Come on.
He was shit last year too, though, bro. And he was still there.
I'm a big fan of centre backs. I'm a big fan of centre back FC, which is what we are now.
They just need 3, bro. 3 proper ones.
He's not. You can't tell me that having Gomez as
not proper,
third choice centre back is not.
He's fourth or fifth choice centre back. He's arse. I'm not having that. He's rubbish. Bro.
I don't know what this anti-Gomez agenda is that you've got, but they won it with him last year.
With him barely touching the field because Van Dijk and Konate didn't get many injuries. Yeah,
but also because Quansah came in when they needed to. They've got bloody Endo with his. Yeah, but they've got Endo with his flipping with his gum shield in. He'll coming back. You got Gravenberch. Apparently, Szoboszlai can play anywhere on the pitch. He's Mr. Utility right now. So come on, they've got plenty of options, bro. Don't let them off just because of your hatred for Liverpool.
No, look,
I think
it's inadvertently I'm letting them off.
Transfer. I think I agree with what Jonty's sentiment was in terms of you don't need to get 100% to get an A star. But do you know what? And it's a Chang thing. You lot rage so hard your internet cuts out. But no, yeah. Do you know what? You give them an A, and we're not going to fight you for giving them an A. It's okay.
Thank you.
There are other teams. There are other transfer windows that we can grade. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Leave me with an A. They still need to have. See, I'm not the only one. I've just got Io's grades in.
and another sensible lad. He's gone Liverpool A as well. Thank you very much for IO. Sort out your internet though. Make sure you can join the next pod. All right, let's go on to the next. AOL, exactly. Man's on the dial-up. All right, let's go to Arsenal then. This one will be fun. Since that last review that we did on the grades, you've brought in Eze, let it all work out, and you've got Hincapié on loan. You've flogged a bunch of players since then, mostly on loan. You've got Kirill, who's gone out on loan to Porto, Vieira on loan to Hamburg, Zinchenko on loan to Forest, Nelson on loan to, was it Fulham that he ended up going to? I'm pretty sure it was Fulham. Maybe it was Brentford. It was one of those West London teams. You've loaned out Hein, and then, yeah, you've sold Lokonga, who's pretty much the only sale that you managed to get since then, for around 200k. Oh my God. You guys are worse than us when it comes to selling. I have to admit, you guys get an A star for that one. But yeah, let's get the grades in. Johns, you can start with this one, since I think you were the most ragey for the last one we did. What's your grade on Arsenal?
Is a B plus. I think I came in with a B minus last time. Is a B plus now. We've improved on the buying side. We have not improved, if not got worse, on the selling side. I was seeing something mental. We've got rid of 9 players for like 6 million. Like, bro, you'd think that we are Grimsby and we are selling our players to someone. Like, this is how mad it is that that's the amount of money that we can raise. So that stinks. So yeah, I think overall it improves our team. It's better than a lot of the ones I've seen previously, but if I'm looking at like Liverpool at an A plus, I can't put us anywhere above like that B category. So I'll put us on the upper end of it and say a B plus.
All right, B plus. Rhys, I'll go to you next, just to split up the Arsenal fans a little bit. What's your grade for Arsenal's transfer business?
I'd probably go B plus, but I wouldn't like. I'd say it's close to an A. Like if you think about it, I think the problem is, do they have enough cover at centre back? If Saliba, obviously, if Saliba drops out, then yeah, I just okay. This is obviously
that is nasty work. By the way, he did that with a straight face. That is nasty work.
You've got 1 million centre backs, but we only know 2 that start and play well. So we don't know like if there is an injury, how good Mascara is. Obviously, I don't think he was that bad, but I'm just saying like it's all about quality over time. So I think they may suffer if one of the 2 pairing may get injured. But yeah, other than that, they've strengthened the squad. They've answered that issue that they've got of a striker. I think their transfer window depends on how successful Gyökeres is at the end of the day. I don't think anyone will care about anything else. So I obviously Jonty is the harshest critic I've ever seen to speak on football. So I don't know. Like he had me second guessing myself for a second. I won't lie. But yeah, I'm gonna go B plus, and I would be happy with like we'll get into my predictions for Chelsea like in a bit, but I'd be happy if I was them because it's all about the type of players you're buying. You're buying established players to try and take you to the next level. So I wouldn't be mad. But yeah, that's just my humble opinion. But yeah.
All right. All right. Two B pluses. I hear it. What's your take on this, Razor? We need more optimism. Am I going to get an A from you?
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Yes, it is
now?
your turn, bro.
Is it my turn? It's defo an A, man. This guy just wants to walk back. Johnny just wants to not have to walk back so fucking like abruptly and visibly from his nonsense. And I said it before. I want brothers to start being like chat to me nicely in terms of like ball knowledge when it comes to like bro. Because I said it throughout the window. I said it throughout the window when people were raging out. Oh, we signed Madueke. Why would we sign Madueke when we could sign Eze? Today, Madueke and Eze both started for Arsenal FC together. And I'll be honest, I've been watching the game at one eye. Madueke looks like he's having a better time. That might be the opposition on his side of the field, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, whatever. Goal from Zubamendi. Second goal scored by Gyökeres. all players that we brought in, you know what I mean? Saliba's on the sideline. I'm not having a panic attack. Why? Because Mascara's balling out. He looks like a carbon copy. He just speaks a different European language. Every single thing, and I actually would love to do a side by side of the first time that we talked about this in terms of the transfer window, in terms of what do I feel like we need to be able to go and challenge, for this year. We said we need, to replace players that are going out. So Chargy needs to get replaced. We need to replace, we need backup for Saka. We need someone who can start level at left wing because Martinelli has gone somewhere else. And we needed like another replacement in midfield to cover Jorginho leaving. All of those came in. We got defensive cover in as well. Now, the only reason I would say it's an A and not an A star is because on top of that, we needed to get players off of our books. We needed to get those players away from the club. Do you know what I'm saying? I rate the Arsenal like transfer window for getting those players away. Like I share Jonty's, probably less of Jonty's rage, but like I share some of it in terms of like how do we shift that many players for not that much. But at the end of the day, we're rebuilding our squad. Are we going to sell the players that we need to challenge for the title? No. So we're going for Deadwood. And if we're going for Deadwood, that would have been in our team when we were going for 5th or top 4. Then realistically, they're not going to be particularly desirable Deadwood, are they? So, you know, hopefully in 2 seasons, we start chopping the books like Chelsea and Liverpool are doing, selling players that can't sniff our starting 11 for like 40 mil. That would be lovely. But I think being realistic, you got to compare the objectives and what was needed at the start of this transfer window, what we were begging for the past 2-3 transfer windows to what we got. We got everything on the list. Don't be a spoiled kid on Christmas morning. Don't be a spoiled kid on Christmas morning because the BMX is the wrong color, bro. Or because you saw your neighbor got a bit 2 BMXs. That's what it is.
Can I ask a question?
Chopping, Chelsea are chopping. The man them are jealous. We got what we needed.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
When I talked about Liverpool, I literally said basically all of the positions that they needed to strengthen in their starting 11, they bought arguably the best player on the market that they could get in that position.
Yeah.
When I look at them, I'm happy with them. They are good players, right? Like Gyökeres is one of the best players we could have got. Zubimendi is one of the best players we could have got. Eze is one of the best players we could have got. I like it, right? But when I see, you know, the level of Isak, I'm not going to say that like Isak is miles better than Gyökeres. But if you had to choose out the two of them, I would have said everyone was screaming for Isak more so, right? And well, if I'm looking at like,
if you go on my Twitter profile,
it would be someone else, right? So that's what I'm just saying. Like, I agree with you. We have filled all the objectives, and I'm probably being a bit harsh. Maybe an A- is better. But from my point of view, we've filled all the objectives, but have we filled it with the best possible players that we could have got in each of those positions? And I'm doing this in relative like terms compared to Liverpool, because if Liverpool didn't have that window, I'd probably be more generous and say, you know what, that's class. But the fact that they've gone and done what they've gone and done, it does make me look at it with a like slightly harsher lens to say that's what the league winner just did. And all of this has got to be kind of somewhat relative to each other, right? Like we're kind of graded on a curve.
No, this isn't a standardized assessment. And like, sorry, I almost jumped in, and I'm sorry for like cutting or attempting to cut you off. I'm glad that you finished your point. But like, I don't feel like this is a standardized assessment. I feel like every single team has different needs and different things. Like for Palace to have sold like Eze and then replaced him with Yeremy and then held on to Guehi, should that be looked at in a similar way to a team that's like at the top end of the table that's not about to play, or a team at the bottom end of the table that's not going to play a season in Europe? Like every team has got different requirements and different parameters for success in my mind. And I think where you're looking at this, is why I use the analogy of the kid who asked his parents for a BMX on Christmas morning and then has looked up and seen his neighbor got like a dirt bike and now he's not happy with his BMX. Like we got what we asked for, like exactly what we asked for, down to the T. Like I'm gonna be honest, is Isak a better player than Gyökeres? In my opinion, yes. If you go on my Twitter profile and search Isak's name, I've been screaming, I beg you guys bring this guy to the carpet for like 2 seasons now. The thing is, though, Isak went for 125 M's. 125 M's. Yeah, allegedly. How many other players have Arsenal signed that contribute to that grade that I gave them? Would we have not been able to sign had we bought Isaac for 125 M's? And do you know what?
Okay, that's fair.
If he goes back to being mashed potato angles, if he's player of the season, wins the Golden Boot, Salah's winning the assist, like breaking assist records, and Liverpool defend the title, do a double or a treble or whatever, fine. It is what it is. It's our L. If he goes back to being mashed potato ankles for like 4-6 months, like at a time, like being back to fitness and then not being 100%, playing, being good, but only being able to do 25 minutes, which has been a lot of his seasons, isn't it? He's had like two-ish seasons where he's been more consistent, but that is how Isaac's like career has looked. 125 M's. If he has like that over the focal point of the season, it's gonna look funny in the light. Works ain't going to be the only one on Fraud Watch. I think we did.
I'm happy to revisit
sensible,
this.
pragmatic business.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have
I'm happy
him,
to revisit this mid-season later on and come back and say that I was wrong. And you have kind of taught me off a ledge a little bit here. It's just
step away from the ledge,
I don't know, man. I'm doing the keeping up with the Joneses. I'm doing the keeping up with the Joneses right now and just looking over.
Man.
You know, I'm almost thinking like, you know, I asked for a PS5 for Christmas and I got a lightly used one off of eBay. I'm still happy, but is it as shiny as it could have been?
Be grateful. Be grateful, man.
Spoiled,
be grateful, man.
You could be a United fan.
Hey, wait. Chill out. Because also I'm about to agree with you, bro. So, you know, don't antagonize me now. But no, I've gone A-. I think the only reason why I add the minus in is just because I'm looking at your outgoings. And I get your point, Razor. Like, you know, of course, you've got to start somewhere. You're not going to go from being the worst sellers to suddenly become Chelsea or Liverpool overnight. I get it. But you got to have got more money than 200k for Lokonga, 4 million for Tavares, 2 million for Marquinhos. Like, there are good players in it, right? You're not flogging absolute horseshit.
Where are you getting these numbers?
Bro, Transfermarkt.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then you've obviously, like, I know you got loan fees for Kivior, and that will turn into permanent for a decent chunk next season, and that's decent, but like, you could have got money back. If you were Chelsea and Liverpool selling, they would have made, you know, maybe 60 M's a minimum from these players that you flogged. And you've managed to get 6.2 or whatever it is. Like, it's only that selling part which gives you the minus. Because I do agree with you. The players you got, they're the top, within the top 1 or 2, I would imagine, on your target, right? For the players that you wanted in each position. So that's a successful season. Like, you know, we've had transfer windows where we're going down to, Mourinho said it, like 4th or 5th choice players, and you can't win with that. And you're getting Kepa's probably one of the best backup goalies you could have got. Subamendi's one of the top 3 players you could have got in that position, right? Norgard as a backup again knows the league. I think, you know, that's really solid. Gyökeres again, top 3 strikers you could have got. Mosquera, up and coming centre backs, one of the top 5 you probably are out there, wonder kid levels. Eze, again, top 3, you'd not complain to get him from that list. It's probably only the Madueke one which makes you guys a bit upset. But again, you know, listen to Gary Neville. He's saying that you've got to move Saka to play Madueke. So I think all these transfers are going to end up looking better than you know, you first thought, and that's what, if you kept the sales up with that level, A or A star, I would say. But I'm going to give you just a minus because of that. But Kem's giving you an A. That tells you a lot.
Of course.
Probably should make you question, Razor, what you're doing. And Io's gone A- as well. So that's the grades in. We're all kind of around that B+ to A.
Can I create a new slander name for Razor, by the way? I would like to call him Gary Neville. Just for the Madueke. Like, yeah.
Gary Neville. All right, let's move to Chelsea then.
Carragher.
Exactly, Carragher. It could have gone worse. Let's go to Chelsea then. I'm not going to bother listing all the people because it's diabolical, right? But you've managed to sign Garnacho, thank you, bro, and Buonanotte on loan, and you've managed to sell all of your dead wood for almost like 200 and odd million or something. It's a crazy, crazy outgoing. We'll start with you, Rhys, since you're Chelsea, real Chelsea. What's your grade on your window?
I think I gave it a B last time. I'll stick with a B. Yeah, don't get me wrong. A couple of weeks ago, I had a major head loss. I was about to give us like a C-. But, I've come to my senses and I've thought about it a little bit. And stick with a B because we haven't sort of filled the areas that kind of need to be filled with a goalkeeper and another centre back, a quality centre back, just to carry us through the season. Don't get me wrong, I thought Buonanotte was a bit weird. I think the structure of that deal is weird, but if he will kind of act as maybe some sort of cover for Palmer, is what I understand. So maybe it's just squad cover. So I can't really rage at that. I just think the problem we've got is the type of players we're signing. I just don't think make us serious contenders. And this is why, like, you can say, like, obviously, oh yeah, we spent loads of money and this and that, but it's just the type of player we signing is not going to come in and lift us to that level. And you can compare that to the type of signings Arsenal have made, Liverpool have made, Newcastle have brought in a couple of experienced heads. Like, we don't do that. That's not in our transfer policy. So, I think as a fan, you just have to settle that that's how we're going to move in the market from now on. It's always going to be a deal. Like you even saw with that Imaga from Strasbourg. Obviously, that was an easy deal to do because he's at Strasbourg. But then, what does that say about Liam Delap's days at Chelsea? Like, it's not just Garnacho. I just think the deals we do is always likely a player is going to be moved on. So I think we just have to accept that's the way we're going to do business right now. I mean, we was linked with like Maignan. I think Kudos, we was up there for Kudos, but we wanted to offer Dewsbury Hall as well as 40 million. So like, it's just like, I feel like these moves are like PR stunts just to kind of make us look a bit serious and please the fans. But we know deep down that's never a deal that we would even do. Like, tell Javi Simmons to sit there all summer and we'll come back with a bid, only to never come back with a bid. It just sounds a bit weird. And are they just briefing the media just to make Chelsea fans happy? Sorry for the rant, but I'll stick with a B because we do have squad cover. Didn't feel the right, didn't sort of get a goalkeeper or a centre back, but we still have good squad depth. Like, we'll always have good squad depth, but still not enough to carry us to a proper title challenge just yet.
Yeah, all right. You've gone B. I hear it. I'm going to jump in next and then come to you, Razor. So Kem's also gone B and Io's gone B+. I'm going to be I'm probably might be the only one with this, but I'm going to drop it and I'm going to go C+. And the reason why I've gone C+ is, like, outgoings are A**. Unreal. Like, I don't know how you've managed to pull that off. Jackson with crazy loan fees and Kunku for almost the same amount that you bought him. Chukwuemeka, Vega, all these guys. I've got Chukwu, really good prices. But I'm looking at this, like, the incomings, and I just feel like you've gone really risky with, like, really young players. Pretty much the only one who I think's 30 on this list is João Pedro. Everyone else is a bit of a gamble or, really young player. And I think that Simon's situation turning to Buonanotte is just bizarre. So I think the incomings just, it's baffling. And when we look at the last two teams that we've gone through, Arsenal and Liverpool, you could say that they checked off pretty much all the areas that they needed to, you identified a weak spot in their team, they ticked off the players. Chelsea have still got, and trust me on this, I'm well placed to say your keepers stink. Our keepers stink as well, but your keepers stink. And you've gone and bought like 9-10 players, not one goalie in there. Now, I know you've got 8 goalies or whatever already, but all of them are either youngsters or they're Robert Sanchez. And you mentioned Maignan or someone else. Like, there's a good goalie. Donnarumma was available. That stinks of a Chelsea bid. I know the wages maybe were high, but you should have gone and got a goalie, man. So, but there's other goalies you could have got, right? That would have been better placed than Sanchez. You've mentioned the centre-back stuff. You got Hato, who I think might be a good player, but I think it's obviously a bit risky. You could have got a more experienced centre-back to come in there. I just feel like you missed out a couple of spots where you needed players just to chase Garnachos and Gittins and all these other players who you didn't really need. But, I'm grateful for the Garnacho one. But I'm going to give you C+. I think that's might be a bit harsh, but I think for the outgoings, A**, but the incomings, I think they stink. So I'm going to give you a C+ on that one.
Razor, what's your grade for Chelsea?
I actually agree with a lot of what Antony said, except for one thing. It's a flat C, not a C plus for me, because I think there's like I think there's a lack of strategy there. That is, they also need to have like points deducted a little bit for points deducted. No. But in all seriousness, like they sent Nico Jackson to Bayern. They got rid of Nkunku. They were happy to have Mark Goo Pudding at Sunderland. Is that where he was? Do you know what I'm saying? For like 6 days, he did work experience, like the GCSE kids used to do at JD Sports. But like that's what I mean. It seems almost like there's a lack of strategy. And if I was a Chelsea fan, I would be concerned by that. Like, because it's just like, what do you mean we're in a position somehow where we were in for one of the most exciting young forward players in Europe? We've ended up not getting him. We've ended up like missing out on him to Tottenham, no less. And then on top of that, like one injury has got you lot scrambling and recalling loans and stuff. It's like, you know, like big Chelsea, like, you know, like Champions League winner Chelsea, like not like obviously like I'm not a fan of Chelsea. I'm not fond of Chelsea, but like it's almost a bit like it feels like whoever's running the show there for transfer business wise is being a bit disrespectful to the footballing element of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that for me is why I thought like it was like, yeah, it's cool. And I you know, I've been given running plaudits of how gassed and jealous I am of how they miraculously manage to sell for so much every time. That's why I said I think we actually did all right with Madueke, because I couldn't see Chelsea selling him for less. I actually couldn't see it. I think we did all right. But yeah, I think they have to take a little extra hit for the lack of pragmatism in the window. But you know, who knows what they have going on there.
I just want to say,
man.
I just want to.
Rhys is raging.
Just at that point, no, because he said there's a lack of strategy. There definitely is a strategy. It's just not a strategy that's very.
A footballing strategy.
It is a footballing strategy. It's a footballing business strategy. Like buy a
player.
business.
Okay.
Make some money. And if this one, like, what is it? You throw shit at the wall and at some
point something sticks.
And a stick. So there is a strategy. It's just an unheard of strategy that people wouldn't associate with the Abramovich era. Like, we're not going for these types of players anymore. And then you said Donnarumma, he would never go into our wage structure now. Like, that would be impossible for, and that's just the way we do business now. It's like we just buy cheap. Well, sometimes it's not even cheap, but you buy players, stick them on cheap wages, and then somehow move them on. It's just, that's the strategy. It's just not it's an unusual strategy because it's not one that's going to bring a title. Like, you can say, oh, you spent this much, so you should win this and that. But like, look at these guys. You think like you can't even name the spine of the team. Like, so, yeah. There's just a strategy thing in it. Like, there's one there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
We're here to make money, baby.
Oh man, I really thought I was going to be the lowest grade on that with C+, but Razor comes in for the win. But Jonty, what's your grade on this one, bro? I think you've all convinced me to lower it, so I'm for a flat C as well, because I think I gave them quite a good grade the first time when we did this, because I was looking at João Pedro and I was thinking, you know, him, Delap, it looks really good. Esteval looked exciting, but I look at it now. I look at them and I think, which of them actually improved your starting 11? Really, only João Pedro and Esteval potentially. Everyone else is like, could be, maybe, might be good, but like, I'm not moved by these signings. So I am going to put it at a C. And the other thing I will say about it is, it's more a business strategy than it is a football strategy in my mind, right? Like, it is a football business strategy, sure. It's a bit like, from my point of view, it's a bit of an upper class Brighton strategy. Like, that seems to be what you guys are on now, which is a bit mad, because like, you were the 7th charge Chelsea, buying anybody that moved that was like a really good player, essentially. So like I do think there's something stinky about that, but I think your saving grace is your outgoings have been mental. Like you still have the ability to get money for people that no one heard of and don't even have a spot in the changing room. So I don't think it's as good as I thought it was before. I was still hoping that you'd go and get a goalkeeper. I was still hoping you'd go and not hoping, but I'm thinking you'd go and get a goalkeeper and potentially like a centre back. But I think like in the light now, Delap injured, your like main centre back injured as well. I do think that it stinks a bit more now. I look at it properly. So, and also just with the, I said before that I'm doing it relatively. I gave Arsenal a pretty harsh grade. I can't be putting you in a B category if I'm giving Arsenal a B category. So you're going to sit there in the C's. You're doing single maths only, not double. Oh no, single science. You're not doing double or triple. You're sat there. A C's the best you're getting.
Oh God.
Man gave you the foundation paper.
I know, man's doing BTEC courses while we're all doing our A levels. Wild. All right, let's go on to United then. So the only difference is since the last time we reviewed the United transfer business was we've got Lamans in for around 17 million, and then we've gone absolutely buck wild on the outgoings. So we've sold Garnacho to Chelsea. Thanks, Rhys, again. I will always thank you. Antony's gone out, my namesake, to Betis for around 20 million. And then we've loaned out Højlund, Sancho, and the whole cake, not just the cherry on top of the cake. We've managed to get rid of Onana. Thank the Lord. He's gone to Trabzonspor on loan. Somehow, this absolute criminal has managed to get more money. He's on more wages, apparently, in Turkey. And yeah, thank God he's gone. So yeah, let's do this one. Rhys, I'll start with you this time, bro. What's your transfer grades for Man United's business?
Do you know what? I can't remember what I gave them last time, but I remember I was quite negative about their selling and saying that they hadn't done very well in terms of getting rid of the deadwood or the players that they didn't want to be there. I think that has improved things. I would definitely say like there things have improved in terms of getting rid of your Onanas, for example, and bringing in another keeper. I don't know if that keeper, people were saying a lot to Rhys about buying a keeper. I don't know if that keeper purchase made all the sense in the world to me. I get like buying promise and talent and stuff, but like you're the butter on the underside of the bread in a shit sandwich right now when it comes to goalkeepers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you had a keeper who was terrible, even though he was generational for you at one point. He was terrible. You had to get rid of him. So you got rid of him. You got another keeper who's meant to be great, but he was terrible. So you got another keeper to give him competition. And he was fucking terrible. Like, so I don't understand how like the idea now of being like, oh yeah, cool. We're just going to bring in yet another keeper. And it's not someone who's like top level. I think, yeah, United, Donnarumma should have been like a priority for them. I don't care if he doesn't fit the system. Like you need someone who's a fucking somebody in between the sticks, ultimately. I also think not getting a midfielder, Nash's transfer of the season shout, long may it rain. Not getting Baleba or a Baleba type, criminal. And I also think that, yeah, like having Kobe Mainoo and being willing for him to go out on loan. If I just took points off Chelsea for what seemed like a lack of strategy, please believe that like United are in the crosshairs for that, innit? So overall, though, I think you getting rid of Onana made it better. I don't think it made it much better. You got D+, pause.
Fuck's sake. All right, cool. I kind of hear you. I agree with most of it. I think the Lamans one is risky. We're in the same boat as Chelsea. Well, we were in a worse boat than Chelsea, I would argue, on goalies, right? Onana and Bayindir. Sanchez is diabolical, but I don't know if he's as bad. I don't think he's as bad as Onana.
No way.
Right?
No, don't do that.
Bro. No. I don't think he's as
You
bad.
got a disrespecting a World Cup winner, you know. A Club
Yeah,
World Cup winner,
Sanchez is nowhere near
Club World
either of those two idiots, bro.
That's what I'm saying. He's way better.
No,
than
but
them.
comparing them is rude. Like Sanchez has a bozo
think they
moment
could
every
be
now and
compared.
again. Them man
They could
are
be compared.
bozos.
Come on, bro.
They are full-time
Come on, bro.
bozos.
I know, I agree, but we're arguing bozo to bozo, right? But of course, Sanchez is better. I haven't said he's not better. I'm just saying they've got a goalkeeping situation. We've got a worse goalkeeping situation. And all right, you don't agree, and I also don't agree with maybe going for the youngster and putting someone in there when you're going to remove Onana. I think if you kept Onana as the safety blanket, because I do think as much as he's diabolical, we've seen some semblance of semi-decent performances compared to Bayindir. I think it's more risky to get rid of Onana, as much as I agree with it, and I'm happy. Keep Bayindir and then get the youngster. If they're going to get rid of Onana, I would have gone for Emi or Donnarumma or someone who's more proven, and then you can keep Bayindir, being shaky for an emergency situation. But the way they've done it, I have to say they've got massive cojones. They've gone nuts, because the strategy is very, very gung ho to get rid of Onana and get a youngster in, because you're left with unproven and someone who's proven to be shy. So it's risky for sure. So I hear you, Jonty. I'll go with you next. What's your transfer grades for United?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to give you a C+. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because you were coming into this window in a dire situation. And I think I was more generous the first time around when I said this, because I'd seen Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko coming in. I was thinking, all right, if you now surround that with just more bodies, you'll be in a good spot. But you've got rid of like 9 players and you've got in 5. And I'd argue that you needed to be more of like that Chelsea strategy around it and get in a bunch of randomers as well, just in case like things go wrong with the players going. Because I mean, if I'm not going to say anything about Cunha and Mbeumo because they look good, but if Cunha's injured for a longer amount of time, if Sesko like continues to essentially be Højlund 2.0, you're not really going to be in a good spot. So I do think like that probably you a little bit. If I'm expecting you to do a lot better, I do think you needed more bodies in the ins. And I think with the outs, I think you've actually come out of that pretty good to get 40 for Garnacho and 20 for Antony. Like that's not so bad at all in comparison to where you've been previously, which is kind of more in that Arsenal situation of not being able to shift anyone. Obviously, it would have been better if you'd got some money for Sancho and like maybe even properly got rid of Rashford. Like those probably would have made it a bit better. But I just think that in, on and off, man, I think you needed, in my opinion, you need a centre mid, especially if you're not going to give Kobe like a proper chance. I feel like San still doesn't appear to be around. Like he's in the land of Malaga right now, man, hasn't been seen for years. I just think you needed a couple more bodies in there. And I still think you've got people like Ahmad playing right wing back. Like it doesn't really suit him from my point of view. Like you don't have in all positions really what I would consider to be natural players in those positions, like left wing back, right wing back. I know Dorgu does look like he can probably play left wing back pretty well now, but it doesn't really look like you've got a proper right wing back. Your 2 centre mids, I still think Bruce fits the profile of the type of centre mid that you're playing, like a 2 there. I don't think Ugarte proves that either. I don't think he's good enough on the ball. Kobe, I think, still needs to be given more of a chance, and maybe he'll prove it, but it doesn't look like you're going to give him that. So I just think from that point of view, it's like, you haven't done enough, from my point of view, to really make a major difference to your team. So I was in between like a B- and a C+. I'm maybe thinking, I'll give you B- actually, or C+. That sounds harsh to put you in a Chelsea category, because you did make some big improvements to your first 11 where they didn't. But I think it could have been better just to get a few more bodies in there.
All right, so you've gone B- in the end, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Rhys, a little couple stray shots there at the end. What's your transfer grades for?
I have to walk with body armor on this pod. Crazy. The amount we need to clip these strays, boy. I need to start counting these, man. Coming with my own. Anyway, yeah, and what you get? Anyway, let me not. Yeah. opinions. I'll give I'll give United a C plus. I think they have improved the squad, but I guess the overall team situation hasn't improved, and I don't think they've reached sort of any level you've seen to give I don't think they've reached any sort of particular level in the games that they've played. So I would still give it a C, because you have to also remember that pretty much, what these guys said. I think they do need a midfielder, at least to play in that too. I think a good defensive midfielder as well, that can sit and help with the back three that they've got. I do think if you take, like they said, like Razor and Johnson, if one of them gets injured, then it's basically back to the same team that they had from last year. So I think that's also going to be a problem for them. And they've got obviously Luke Shaw left centre back. So there's definitely holes that need filling that they need to address. So I think although the team's improved, they've still got quite a long way to go. And then who knows, with this formation, Amorim, Scott, will he change it? Will he stick to his guns? Will he die on that hill? And if he is to die on that hill, the players he's got ain't going to help him. So I have to give it a C, because although you've improved, there's still a massive question mark on some of these players.
All right, so you're going C plus in the end, or are you going down to a C?
C plus.
All right, cool. C plus.
Rhys, you've convinced me. Stick me back to a C plus.
For fuck's sake. This guy's so easily encouraged, isn't it? One way or the other.
You're also convincing. You're convincing people.
All right.
Says the guy who wanted to copy all of my predictions.
Bro, you are a sneaky bastard. All right, I'm not going to rage bait. You're not going to get me on that rage bait. But no, I'm going B for my grade, yeah? And the reason why I've gone B is because I think we definitely missed a few areas, or one area, obvious one, midfield. If we'd have got a midfielder and, maybe got a more experienced goalie, then I think I would have gone A for our window. Because I know you guys said technically we have got 5 players in, but the Paraguayan youngsters, like, he's going to play in the under-21s and maybe hit the bench if we have an injury crisis, but he's not going to play loads of games. So I look at it really as 4 incomings. But I like 2 out of the 4, I think are spot on. Sesko's a risky one, but I get why you got to do it. I think ideal world, they would have gone for a Watkins, or if Gyökeres didn't reject us for you lot, then I think they would have probably got him. And then for the goalie, cue the celebration stuff. For the goalie, I reckon they did actually want Emi, I think. From what it sounds like from Amorim's press conference, it kind of sounds like he said that essentially we were going for Emi and we had the Lamans one as the backup. But because we couldn't get Emi over the line because Bumcho strikes again and he didn't want to go there permanently, we had to pivot and then go and get Lamans. So I hear it. I think those are areas you could have upgraded that. But I think outgoings, man, I'm happy. It's not 10-10. It's not a Chelsea outgoings by any stretch of the imagination, but it's good, man. To get 40 for Garnacho, again, thanks, Rhys. Forget 20 for Antony. I think it's a bit on the low side, but we've got 50% sell on. So hopefully if he balls out again for them, another La Liga team or something might come in and spend money, and that could go up again. So, the Højlund one, I think, is unreal. I know it's not a sale right now, but Napoli are getting Champions League. Clip this now when they finish mid-table or something, but they should get Champions League, and if we do, then we've got like 45, almost 50 million back from him. That's berserk. He's crap. So that's unreal that we managed to get that for him. The Sancho one screwed us, but nothing we can do. He's a twat. And then Onana, yeah. I mean, I'm just so happy he's gone from the club. And yeah, we could have released him on a free, and I would have been happy. So outgoings, I'm still pretty happy, man. So I think B A B is a fair grade, but I hear what you guys are saying. I don't think C is too crazy. And yeah, for context, Kem's gone C, big time hater, and Io's gone B plus. So all right, we've gone pretty much ranging from B to C in that one, but I think everyone's been pretty fair. Unreal monster pod this week, 2 hours on the clock, and I thought it might have been a shorter one, but yeah, we've managed to go 2 hours long. I'm not going to go through the prediction league again because I did it last week and I'm on the bottom, so I don't want to hurt myself again. But yeah, let's see where things shake up next week. Hopefully, Kem's off the top and I'm off the bottom. Pause, massive pause. But yeah, we'll wrap up the pod here. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Jamar in Australia. Another return listener. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.